This time, in Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, we're going to be talking about the 2 new backgrounds introduced, as well as a quick overview of adapting some of the existing backgrounds to fit your Wildemount campaign. If you're curious to see what those are, stay tuned. So, first up, because it came in a video, this orange thing in the background is a Mass Effect 3 Omni Blade that I got from a long time ago. I just happened to take it off a shelf, and now it's been sitting in the background of the video. I'll move it eventually and replace it with something else. That being said, let's jump over to D&D Beyond to look at the 2 new backgrounds that we received. Right, so obviously these backgrounds are going to be tied to Wildemount specifically, but what's interesting is the Grinner background, which is, it's actually not necessarily tied to Wildemount at all. It mentions Tal'Dorei, and the image we have right here is Dr. Dranzel, who, that says Draniel there? But I'm pretty sure, having looked at the actual book, it's Dr. Dranzel, who was a member, was a character in Campaign 1 that Scanlan had interacted with at one point. Let me just go ahead and take a look real quick in the book. Sorry, this is taking a little long. Yep, nope. It's, I don't know if you guys you probably can't make that out, but it says Dranzel. That's a Z, that's just a typo in D&D Beyond. It's supposed to be Dr. Dranzel the Grinner. But anyway, you are basically a bard, a minstrel, part of a secret organization that overthrows tyranny, and in doing so, you've developed cool code songs where you can play a song, and while it has a cool meaning, I mean, it's a song, it's music, people enjoy it, but it has a sort of underlying theme to it, and I really like that. So you get proficiency in deception and performance, 1 type of musical instruments and thieves' tools, so that's pretty sweet. And you get a set of fine clothes, a disguise kit, a musical instrument, a gold-plated ring depicting a smiling face, and a pouch containing 15 gold. And what's cool about 2 new backgrounds is they're going to have bonds, traits, ideals, and flaws. But it has 6 code songs here. So it says all members of the Golden Grin have learned a handful of folk songs in their travels. Choose a favorite song or roll on the table. You can see here, right, like, Let the Sword Grow Rust is an anti-war anthem from Marquette. It has uncertain origins. You would use this to help quell violent encounters. Whereas Blow Fire Down the Coast, a rowdy fighting song from the Clovis Concord, the ditty talks of blasting up pirate ships. You would use this to encourage battle. And your background feature here is Ballad of the Grinning Fool. Like every Grinner, you know how to find a hideout. In a city of 10,000 or more people on the Menagerie Coast, or in the lands of the Dwendalian Empire, you can play the Ballad of the Grinning Fool in a major tavern or inn. A member of the Golden Grin will find you and give shelter to you and any companions you vouch for. It might be discontinued if it becomes too dangerous to hide you at the DM's discretion, and it just says, bear caution, not all who know your ballads may be friends, could be traitors, counter spies, or agents of tyranny that are just clued into it. And then we have our custom traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. And these kind of fit, again, the general concept of being someone who's in front of spotlight here. Give me a drink and I'm your friend. I love the spotlight. Ideals, a nation built up on foundations will uphold freedom for all. Again, you're against tyranny. Here's some bonds. I will be known as the greatest spy who ever lived. The elite in their ivory towers don't understand how we suffer. I intend to show them. And flaws, I do everything big. Subtlety, I don't know the meaning of subtlety. Oh, that's a problem. Or I can't afford to trust anyone, not anyone. You can see there's obviously more here. I'm just giving you a couple highlights. And then a Volstrucker agent, which is interesting because part of me wonders now that all of these things exist in a printed D&D format, if any of these things are or could be applied to a critical role character. Are they going to go in and adjust their character sheets to have these new critical role options? So, it mentions here that basically they are the Scourgers. I guess, sort of spoiler alert, that this seems to be tied, kind of Caleb's background, but I don't know if this is the case. But your proficiencies here are, this is a really good one. I like this one a lot. Deception and Stealth. Poisoner's Kit as the tool proficiency, 1 language, a set of common clothes, a black cloak with a hood, a Poisoner's Kit, and a pouch containing 10 gold. Happy people aren't selected to join the Volstrucker, and they said, what's the tragedy in your past? Through deceit or manipulation, they convince you to slaughter your own family. You were once a scion of a wealthy family who lost their entire fortune in a blink of an eye. You were captured and tortured by the Grinner dynasty and barely escaped. Bad stuff happened to you. That's why you joined up. But you do have access to a shadow network. You have access to the Volstrucker shadow network, which allows you to communicate with other members over long distances. If you write a letter in special arcane ink, address it to a member of the Volstrucker, and cast it into a fire, the letter will burn to cinders, materialize whole again on the person of the agent you addressed it to. The ink used to send a letter across the shadow network is the same that is used by wizards to scribe spells in a spell book. Writing a letter in this ink costs 10 gold pieces per page. So, even if you don't necessarily want to include this, if you're not playing in a Wildemount campaign and don't want to give this as a background option, I like the concept of just that as a means. It's like almost like a flu network sending messages through it. I think that's a cool concept to incorporate into any D&D campaign. We have our personality traits. I laugh off insults and I never take them personally. I indulge in vices to quiet my conscience. Some ideals here. The will of the crown is absolute. They're pure evil. I can't atone for what I've done, but I'll escape it with my life. We only have 4 bonds here. Everything I've done to protect someone close to me, or the job is all that matters. I'll see it through. And some flaws. I drink to dull the pain. I go mad when I see blood. I hear voices of people I've killed. I see their faces. I can't be free from these ghosts. And then there's just a little bit about how adapting existing backgrounds. Not too much here. It's just no actual changes to the backgrounds. Just, reworking them. An acolyte to be a Luxembourg, rather. A criminal to be a myriad operative, a sailor to be a revelry pirate, and a sage to be a cobalt scholar, and a spy to be part of the Ogden Trust. So again, not too much, just 2 new backgrounds. But it's interesting to see. I always like looking at new backgrounds because I like seeing what the new background features are. For those of you who don't know, if you read the player's handbook, there is a section on creating your own background. And it basically says choose a couple things and then choose a background feature that you like. In theory, if these are in play, you could choose one of those background features. And possibly one would be the writing a message and throwing it into a fire and it appearing somewhere else. So I thought that was pretty cool. I guess also to give you guys a roadmap of what my plan is for future Wildemount content. I'm going to cover all of the magic items that are contained in the book. I'm going to cover all of the new monsters that are contained in a book. I want to cover the Heroic Chronicle, the new sort of cooperative background character building process. And then I may do the adventures as well. If there's something above and beyond that you'd like to see in the future, I wasn't really planning on covering like the crunch or the flavor lore stuff of Wildemount because one, that may be potential spoilers. I don't know. I haven't really read through it for folks who are watching Critical Role Campaign 2 or possibly stuff for Campaign 1. I'm not really sure. I typically cover mechanical stuff here on the channel, less things about lore and fluff kind of flavor stuff. But if that's something you're desperately interested in, you want to hear my opinion on what it is, technically I used to do a What's New series where I just covered everything that's new. Technically there are new gods in here, so that's something to potentially look at. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you once again for everybody who's come out to support the channel recently. The numbers have been ballooning up because Critical Role fans are rabid, and they do love to see all of the, everybody's opinion on Critical Role stuff, which is awesome. I really do appreciate all the critters out here who are coming to check out my thoughts on the new book, as well as all the D&D fans who are just here to see what my thoughts are as someone not tied to Critical Role, just as a new book release. So that's really cool. And again, I do have a giveaway going on for some cool stuff from Jetpack 7 for breaking 20,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And I will be doing a giveaway of a copy of this book, probably the Laurel Silverhand dice as well. It's just really obtaining them because normally my go-to would be Amazon, but as we all know with the state of the world, Amazon is now prioritizing, as they should, the more important stuff for shipment. So the giveaway may run for this for a little bit longer. But the book's out, guys, if you don't know. I've been doing stuff on it, but the book is physically out. Make smart choices if you're going to go out to try to pick one of these up. Obviously, sheltering in place and staying safe is more important. But, maybe you ordered one, you can get it delivered to your house or something like that. Things to consider. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.